For this presentation, I decided to look at the free will and fate that is present in the play Antigone. This play is centered around the event of Antigone burying her brother against the law. I can imagine that many of us would want to honor our family member in this hard time, but if we would be sentenced to death as a result of doing that, not everyone would be as confident as Antigone was. The reason it was so important for Antigone to do this was because of the beliefs that the ancient Greeks had. If the correct process was not followed fully, the deceased soul would not be at peace, but instead would roam between worlds until it was done correctly. Antigone did not want this for her brother, and because of her actions, the ripple effect of other characters acting on their free will began, and the fate that they were given followed not far behind. This free will is a character's ability to freely make their own decisions. The first example of free will in this play is what I just touched on, Antigone deciding to bury her brother, which went against Creon and his law. She had the choice to either leave his body alone or decide with her gods and bury him. It was an easy decision for Antigone to make, even though she knew the consequences that would follow, which was death. Secondly, we see the decisions that Ismene makes of telling Creon that she helped her sister bury their brother. Even though this is a lie, and she could have just kept quiet while Antigone got punished, she couldn't bear to think of a life without her sister. Antigone was mad at her for not helping in the first place, and this made her even more upset. But Ismene knew that she should have helped her sister in the first place, and did not want to let her get punished alone. Lastly, I looked into the decisions that Creon had to make when it came to punishing the sisters. He was the one who made the law that was illegal for them to bury their brother. He also knew that his son, Haman, loved Antigone because she was his fiancée. Yet, he still decided to sentence her to jail and eventually death because of her actions. He believed that if he were to let Antigone get away with what she had done, the whole city would begin to rebel. He decided to take the side of his power and go against his family. Next, I looked at fate that followed the character's actions. Fate is a result of events that are beyond the character's control and usually come from a higher being or supernatural power. The fate that Antigone was given was death. Creon sentenced her to death because of her actions that went against his ruling. However, later on in the play, he was going to take back what he decided and let her out free. But by the time they arrived to her cell, she had already taken her life. If only she would have waited just a little bit longer, she would have been alive and out of jail. But instead, she was overcome with the idea of taking her own life, because death was the fate that she was given. Moving on, the fate of Creon plays a large part in the ending of the play. Because of this decision to power over the city, he made some decisions that would come back to haunt him. The fate for Creon and his actions not only affected his personal life, but the city that he was in control of. When the blind prophet came and told Creon of the evil that was going to invade the city, he feared the fact that every single one of his prophecies had come true in the past. Although he did not want to take back what he had declared, he knew that it was the right thing to do. However, he was too late. Antigone had already taken her own life, and so did his son Haman right in front of him. The fate that Creon was given because of his actions was to lose what he had taken for granted, which was his family. This play is full of characters making their own decisions based off of what they feel is right. I believe this is still relevant to our society today when it comes to making both small and large decisions. The fate that comes into play is the author's way of showing what the characters cannot handle of being fully in charge of their own actions. When they make decisions based off of emotion, it is hard for them to think about other possible options and outcomes that can negatively affect their life. I know that I can think of times when I have made decisions that I believe were the right ones, and the fate that I was given because of those actions was something that I had to live with, just like Creon had to do. Can you think of a time when you took control of a situation and you were not happy with the fate that you were given?